Shalom. Very happy to be here. Well, I am not a vice president yet, but I am working on it. So next time, maybe. But I'm a director for EU policy at Planet, and I'm extremely happy to be here for several reasons. And thank you, Offer, for inviting me. This has been a great conference. Very good speeches, good presentations. But I'm happy that I'm here not just because I represent Planet, but also actually because I represent women. I counted yesterday the number of speakers, and it looks to me that out of 77 speakers at this conference, there are only 7 women that came on a stage. Now, this is not unusual for a space conference, unfortunately, but I do encourage all the young women to pursue space and to get into this sector because it is exciting and there is place for us. Some of you probably have heard about Planet, some of you haven't, but I would like to take you on a very interesting and exciting journey and to show you how much can be done in a relatively short time and how you and your startup can go from a very beginning to something great and extraordinary. Well, extraordinarily, I don't know how to use this. Am I? Okay. But we skipped. Ay. I told you it was going to be exciting. Could you go to the beginning, please? Sorry about that. But this is just to keep you awake, to make sure that you guys are paying attention to the slides. But I want to tell you about Planet because it's a.
Is this back? Is this going back or forward?
This is going forward, actually.
This is back, right?
No, this is going forward. I'm sorry. Yeah. Now you've seen the whole presentation, so no surprises there, which is very unfortunate. So I'm going to have to say some very surprising. No, even further. There we go. All right. And I just press here, right? All right. Apologies, and I actually see here as time that it's time up, so I don't know if I'm done. But I want to tell you a story about Planet because like I said, it's an exciting one. So the company started in the garage, as many things do. These guys over there started in 2010. They actually came out of Space Generation Advisory Council. So if all of those young people that are here in the room, if you don't know what that organization is, you should definitely look it up and join because I have started with SJC and so did these guys, and they've actually met at SJC. So they had this crazy idea that they want to start building satellites that are going to monitor Earth, and they're going to do it faster, quicker, better, and cheaper. And everybody thought that they were crazy. So they got in this garage, and this is the very beginning, and they started thinking, what can they do? And they came up with Mission 1. They came up with this crazy idea that they want to monitor the entire world, pretty much scan it on a daily basis. So every part of Earth would be monitored every day, which was really unthinkable at that time. They came up with an idea to build a satellite. The satellite was called Dove, and this is the satellite right there. And the satellite was supposed to be, and it is, extremely small. So it's a 5-kilogram satellite, so-called CubeSat. It's pretty much that size. And they argued that that satellite is going to be able to do everything that all these big satellites can do. So they started thinking about how to make it work, how this is going to function, what do they have to put in it, how much is it going to cost. So they started building these Doves, and each time they build one, it was different than the previous one. There were actually already 13 iterations of the Doves. So each time we are launching satellites into space, they're better than the ones we launched before. We're improving constantly, and we are going to do so in the future as well. Now we are able to build 20 satellites per week. You know, I was working for the Copernicus program before at the European Union. Fantastic program, actually, extraordinary. But to build a satellite there from the idea to actually launch, it takes roughly 7 years. We're building 20 satellites per year, a game changer, per week.
0 plus 1.
And I would like you to see this video.
Plus 25 seconds.
Because just in February, those are our satellites. They're just being launched. They're just being thrown out of the rocket. And this is what it looks like. And you saw a presentation yesterday from a gentleman who's sitting here in the front who actually launched them for us. So we launched this on the PSLV rocket with ISRO last February, and this was historical launch because 104 satellites were launched at once, and 88 of those satellites were ours. This was unprecedented. It has never happened. We have made contact with all of these satellites, and these satellites are working, and this is what they're doing right now. So there's an orbit of these satellites, and while the Earth is moving, this constellation is monitoring, scanning the entire globe. So as you can see, every part on Earth is being monitored every day. So what do we have now at Planet? So in the meantime, while we've been building these doves, those are the satellites in the middle, we've also acquired a couple of companies because we decided that we need to complement them a little bit with something else. So 2 years ago, or almost 3 now, we acquired Rapid Eye company, or Blackbridge actually, it was a German-Canadian company, which gave us 5 Rapid Eye satellites. Those are with 6-meter resolution. We have now roughly 200 of these doves, which are about 3-meter resolution. And then just last year, last February, we acquired Terabella company from Google, used to be called Skybox, with 13 SkySat satellites, and those have 70 centimeter resolution. So all of those together give us a pretty good and accurate picture of planet Earth. So that crazy mission that I told you about at the very beginning, just in 6 years has been accomplished. And like I said, the idea came from the garage of some 3 crazy guys who had an idea to do something different in the world. And that has been accomplished. So now we're actually working on mission 2. You can see now that this is how our activity in space has grown and how many pictures we're taking. And I'm going to show you some statistics because this is pretty impressive when you look at the numbers. But we're taking over 14 million images per day, which is really a lot. And because we are able to do revisit time every day, within a week span, or I would say even 5 days right now, we're able to achieve 95% cloud-free coverage of the entire globe. Because even though there might be clouds over a certain area today, they're not going to be there tomorrow. And since we're revisiting that place every day, we're able to have a cloud-free image of the entire globe, pretty much 95% of it, which is a pretty good statistic right there. Now, just to show you some of the pictures that we're taking. So this is from those doves that I showed you, and now with the full resolution, this is the type of pictures that we can see. Also with SkySat and the resolution. And SkySats are also able to take videos up to 90 seconds. Now, what we can do with these sort of satellites, because of the resolution is so good, we have all kinds of different customers, but you can, for instance, use it for airport monitoring, and you can count the airplanes if this is your desire. But really, what we're trying to do, we're trying to bring this data to all these end users that actually Luke was talking about before, that this data is something that that it's easy to get, that it's not extremely expensive, that is user-friendly, and that can help businesses and that it can help researchers. So the different sectors that we're impacting right now, anything from agriculture to energy to finance, insurance, government, it is something where satellite data can be used and is used. So what are we going to next? Well, we have all kinds of plans, but one of the big ideas that we have now, that we want to actually index Earth, like Google indexed the internet. So pretty much what we would like to do in a few years, that you're going to be able to go on our website and just Google, or maybe Planeter, I don't know, we have to think of a new word, any place on Earth that you would like to see, that you would like to monitor, that you would like to use for your business, that it would be something that is not far-reached, but something that really would bring that data home to you. Now, this is just to show why these sort of pictures are important, because we can really monitor the areas that we think it's important. You know, some people, there's a lot of arguments about environment now and climate change. Some argue that there's no problem. But just with our images, we can, for instance, look at deforestation, and you can see how much of the forest is being cut. And picture can speak 1,000 words, right? So you cannot really deny it. We can also monitor ports. So if you would like to see what kind of boats are coming and count them and monitor them, you can do that as well. We have a special platform that actually will, if you register with us, it will send you a signal if you're monitoring a certain area. And you, for instance, put a threshold that in that area you're expecting only 5 boats, but there's going to be 6 or 7 coming in, you would get actually an SMS telling you that something is out of order in the area that you're monitoring. You can do not only ship counting, but also counting of the containers on the ships, because the resolution is good enough to allow you to do that. And you can count planes, as I have shown you already. For disaster management, we have already heard quite a bit what satellite technology can do, so I'm not going to repeat what the other speakers said. But we have done a lot of mapping and offered imagery for free for first responders. So in natural disasters, we're actually offering things for free. We were the first ones who caught the nuclear testing in North Korea. And we have offered those images for free. We have also been monitoring the genocide pretty much in Myanmar. And also we're looking at what is happening in Amazon, and it's pretty scary. But I'm not just here to talk to you about my company. I am here to use it as an example to let you know what you can do and how you should do it and why you should do it. So is technology always progress? Well, we're looking at a history, and a history has shown us that it's not necessarily the case, right? We have observed great wars, for instance, World War I and World War II in Europe, that you would have considered as the place for civilization. So when we are evolving and we're doing new things, we have to be smart about it. And we have to really have a plan how we're going to use it to the benefit of humankind. So our company has a certain philosophy, and that philosophy is to really do in the world and use all these fancy things to make your life better and make your neighbor's life better and make the life of the planet better. So what we're trying to ask ourselves, and we would encourage you to do, is it what you're doing, is that really helping the world, or is it just helping your wallet? I know we all want to help our wallets, but we can also do a lot of good things while we're trying to create a strong business. So we are looking at those sustainable development goals that we've heard about before. Because if what we're doing doesn't really help any of it, what is the really sense of it, right? What is our purpose in the long term? And when you look at satellite technology, you have to think long term. And the thing is that we don't have to choose one or the other. I think we have a very strong business case at Planet, but we are doing strong business and we're doing good business so that we are allowed to do good things and big things in the world. For instance, at Planet, we have two divisions. One of them is the business part, obviously, and then we have a whole another part. You can see that on our website, which we call the impact part, where we're doing projects to impact the earth, to impact humanity, to impact environment, and this is really that gives us a lot more joy, to be honest. So if you have focus on helping humanity, then you're immediately creating a market. You see, those things are parallel. Because if there's a need for something in the humanity, then you're creating a market and you're going to have customers. So those things do not have to be separated. So this is pretty much it, and because I had a pretty short story, but I do want to encourage you to dream big, and if you have ideas that you would like to put into place, you should go for it. You never know. These guys that I showed you in the garage in the beginning, there were 3 guys that didn't have any money, and they've done everything from scratch, and they were able to fundraise quite a lot of money. They were able to build the satellites, they were able to launch them, and now they're able to monitor the entire Earth. So if we could do it, you can do it as well. Thank you very much.